Hi, it's Randy. Haven't been here for a while. Been busy working. So I want to read an article here based on a study done at a university, Northwestern University. The article is called "When Attractive People Do or Don't Choose Equally Good-Looking Mates. Physical attractiveness, major consideration for those who date soon after meeting." Physically attractive people are better able to win over highly desirable partners. Those who start dating soon after meeting end up with mates who are about as physically attractive as they are. But physical attractiveness is much less important for couples who were friends first. Couples who were friends first are much less likely to be similar in attractiveness. So, side note, this can explain why you see couples who are very different in terms of their level of physical attractiveness. Chances are they met each other in a non-romantic setting, perhaps work or school, and they got to know each other for quite a bit before they even decided that they were interested in each other as a possible romantic partner. To me, this would kind of throw out the possibility of meeting someone on a dating site and then who's very different from you in terms of your level of attractiveness. Because when you're on a dating site and looking for someone, the only thing that you're able to go on before you meet is what they wrote on their profile and their pictures. So most people are looking for someone who, I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back. Most guys are looking for someone who is much higher in physical attractiveness than themselves, because they may think, and they have seen before, that women who are much more physically attractive than their mate will actually end up with someone like them. So they have hope in that manner. However, what they don't have is knowledge of this kind of study, which talks about the fact that you can't really probably get a woman of much higher physical attractiveness than yourself to date you right off the bat. You would have to meet her in a different setting, and she would have to basically become very good friends with you. After a period of time, she might begin to set aside the differences in the fact that you're much less attractive than she is, and she might actually be able to develop romantic feelings for you. Again, meeting on a dating site or for a first date will not work for people who are very different from one another in terms of their level of physical attractiveness, because the whole thing about dating is you're starting off with the premise that you're actually looking for a romantic partner. You're not starting off with the premise that you're just looking for a friend. I'm just going to keep on reading this article. So it says, partners who become romantically involved soon after meeting tend to be more similar in physical attractiveness than partners who get together after knowing each other for a while. This study shows that we make different sorts of decisions about whom to marry depending upon whether we knew the person before we started dating. If we start dating soon after we meet, physical attractiveness appears to be a major factor in determining such decisions, and we end up with somebody who's about as attractive as we are. If, in contrast, we know the person for a while before we start dating, or if we're friends first, physical attractiveness appears to be much less important, and we are less likely to be similar to our spouse on the dimension of looks. individuals tend to be paired with mates who have similar physical, behavioral, and psychological characteristics. A well-documented phenomenon psychological scientists refer to as assortative mating. One explanation for this pattern in pairing comes from a competition-based perspective. An individual's success in the mating market is limited by his or her own desirability. People who are physically attractive tend to be seen as very desirable and are therefore better able to win over highly desirable partners themselves. The researchers hypothesize that the length of acquaintance between partners may shift the dynamics of this sexual competition. Their prior research showed that as people get to know each other over more intimately and across various contexts, their opinions about each other's personal desirability change, making objective physical attractiveness less relevant in determining whether the individuals become a couple. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to conclude that if you are an unattractive man, or basically, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, okay, and you would like to date or eventually marry a woman that is much more attractive than yourself, say a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, unless she only wants your money or something else that you have, the best way to go about it is to put yourself in a lot of social situations where you can become friends with a lot of women, a lot of various women, a lot of various attractive women, and then become their friend over a long period of time, and your chances will increase that one of these women who are much more attractive on the scale than yourself might actually start seeing you as desirable when she first met you, she did not see you that way at all. Same for a woman. If you're a woman who's lower in attractiveness and you are looking for a man or really want a man who is much more attractive than yourself, then what you would need to do is put yourself in those social situations where you're around a whole lot of men, like perhaps at a work situation or in a sporting venue, and get to know these men over a period of time and become very good friends with them, which means you're going to be vulnerable with them. You're going to do things for them. You're going to show them what a great heart you have and what a great woman you are, what a good woman you are. And same for men. You're going to show those women what a good guy you are. And then chances are, if they're all single, which that's unlikely at our age, but if you're able to get into one of these atmospheres where you can actually become friends with a bunch of single people that are attractive, that are, I already said single, with a bunch of people of the opposite sex who are attractive. And, these venues, these situations are few and far between. But that is what you would have to do. Otherwise, your best bet is that you will actually couple up with somebody who's at your same level of attractiveness, and trying to kind of seek initial dating partners who are very dissimilar in their level of attractiveness to you, whether you be male or female, is pretty much barking up the wrong tree. So you're wasting your time there. I'll continue reading. Having the time to interact with others in diverse settings affords more opportunities to form unique impressions that go beyond one's initial snap judgments. That's kind of what I just said, right? Given that people initiate romantic relationships both with strangers and acquaintances in real life, we were interested in how time might affect how similarly attractive couple members are to one another. Researchers hypothesized that partners who had known each other over a short time before dating were likely to be similarly attractive, while partners who were well acquainted before their romantic involvement might show a greater mismatch in physical attractiveness. And the article goes on. I'm not going to continue to talk about it because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This is not news to me, but it is kind of interesting, and it explains, because I've often gotten a lot of comments when I'm talking about physical attractiveness, and I've gotten a lot of comments and a lot of, I don't know, rebuttals that, you know, by women, I just want a good guy. I'm not superficial. I don't care about how attractive they are. Okay, and that's all well and good, but the problem is that you can't start off dating them, or even on a one-to-one situation that might even seem like a date. And it's hard to just like find, I guess, friends on the internet, and it doesn't make any sense to find friends on a dating site. So, because just the fact that you're on a dating site says you're there to date. So, if you want to get with somebody that's much different in attractiveness level than yourself, and not the same, then go ahead and find a bunch of friends, and maybe you'll be able to either snag somebody a couple points higher in attractiveness, or maybe you'll be one of those people who go ahead and fall in love with a friend who's much lower in attractiveness than yourself. So thank you very much for listening. That's the end of this video. Have a great day.